It is the Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at espnsa.com. Go there quickly. We are in for a treat. And so our weekly, though we're doing it a bit early, but we're getting preempted for draft coverage tomorrow. What we've been doing recently is working with Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds to make you a better cook, to impress other folks around you by using the greatness of pork rinds in new and unique ways. I know that sounds crazy, but those that have been listening on the regular have found that there are great recipes available, changing your thought process on how things can be made, going keto-friendly all at the same time. But now, this week, we're starting to focus on the biggest eating day of the year, I believe. And as we're around the corner from Thanksgiving, you want to throw a mac and cheese dish together with a little bit of something that's never been done before in my mind. Let's talk about it with Mark Singleton of the Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Mark, welcome aboard. And man, oh man, we're upping the ante this week.
Hey, guys, I am so excited to talk about this week's recipe. We're getting ready for Thanksgiving. And this was all brought about by a tweet that Jason put out there about what are the favorite sides around America. And I was just shocked. I didn't know rolls could be a side.
I didn't either. And I'm not going to take credit for the tweet. That was a simple retweet because I thought it was stupid and figured it would create debate with a lot of people going, man, I'm glad state where they go with rolls as a legitimate side dish. I mean, rolls in a number of states was considered a side dish. But Mark, you were like, but there were people that do a baked mac and cheese. You guys have a baked mac and cheese, but better than what their Thanksgiving table.
Exactly. I said, wow, I didn't know mac and cheese was that big a Thanksgiving deal. Down here, it's always turkey, dressing, green bean casserole, sweet potato yams. So I said, man, I think we can turn up the heat on with our smoked mac and cheese, pork rind topped dish. And as y'all saw in some of the photos I sent over, this is not Mark proof. I got to tell you, this we're getting out on the ledge, Rob.
Yes.
This you got to pay attention. This is not one that you can watch a game and do. But if you pay attention, this is going to knock your friends and family out this Thanksgiving. It is simply going to knock them out because it's like an umami bomb going off in your mouth. I mean, you got a pork rind crust on it, you got ham, you got three kinds of cheese, and it just creates a whole. You got texture, and then when you throw it on the smoker, as Jason and Rob and I do a lot, when you throw it on the smoker, it takes it to a whole nother level. It gets that smoky taste, and it even creates, half your taste is from your nose. And so you really combine that bacony, smoky thing. And I think y'all are going to love it. This is
You're making me hungry. You're showing us pictures of what you've already done. You're making me hungry. So you said it's not Mark proof, which scares me just a little bit because the shrimp we did last week, I did, and that was Jason Easy. That was a home run, by the way. So tell us how we do this macaroni and cheese.
Okay, so this takes some ingredients. So first of all, you take your Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. We use salt and pepper this week. Put them in your food processor, crush them up. But then you take some ham. Your favorite ham. I could also take a smoked dark brisket, chopped up real fine, and put it in there. That's a great 2 teaspoons of butter, quarter a cup of flour, 3 cups of fat-free milk, evaporated milk, a whole can, 4 ounces of smoked Gouda cheese. And don't skewer up here. Get good smoked Gouda cheese, and then a half a cup of really good sharp cheddar, and then cream cheese, a little salt, red pepper or chipotle pepper. And the complicated part is making the cheese sauce. You put your butter in, you put your flour in, and you got to keep whisking that. We can do that. I mean, yep. It just requires attention span. You can't be like your normal golden retriever self and get distracted here. You will burn this up. And so what you do is you combine all those ingredients. You then put in the milk. You put in the evaporated milk. You actually have to whisk this for about 10 minutes. And I can't remember the chef word for this, but there's a word for this.
Bechamel, isn't this a bechamel?
Yeah, it's bechamel. Yeah.
Sure.
And then you throw in the Gouda cheese. Both of us knowing that is a miracle, being from where we're from, Rob. Did you ever think we'd know even the word bechamel? I mean, good God Almighty.
I think you guys are just making up words right now.
Well,
Rob
Mark, I want
Mark's
to talk to you
agreeing
about
with it.
No, Mark, I want to talk to you about the bechamel in particular, because I noticed when you talk about the evaporated milk, that is a part of the recipe that I didn't expect, because that adds a bit of sweetness that I wouldn't have thought would have been part of that recipe. That must bring out a little bit of that savory. When you add the sweet, it pulls the savory in. That I think will be the twist in this recipe that a lot of people don't expect when you combine that with the smoky flavor that is available from your pork rinds. And then, as we have up at ESPNSA.com, you actually did it on the smoker, so you get that balance that must be spectacular.
And once again, exactly, that evaporated milk, I think that's from Texas. It's just such a great ingredient in there. It does provide that sweet, salty thing that just sets off that umami bomb in your mouth. And after you got your bechamel done, you've got your pasta ready. I don't care what kind of pasta you use. I use corkscrew because it holds more cheese.
Well, why corkscrew? Is it to hold more, or you didn't want the tube to hold the?
Exactly.
I was going to ask you that. Why choose this corkscrew over the regular pasta?
Yeah, this cheese sauce is so good and it's so smoky. I want more cheese and less pasta.
Gotcha.
I want more surface area of sauce, and so we just cover that entirely with the pork rinds. I mean, I want you to coat it, and then just stick it on your smoker. 350, just like every other baking recipe. If you have to do it in an oven, if you don't have your smoker, it works great in an oven. But the smoker really just changes the whole taste of the recipe. And I think you're going to be knocked out by it, guys.
All right, 350 for how long?
About 30 minutes. I want to see that cheese bubbling, and I want to see that top get a little caramelization, a little color, a little char on it, that's kind of how I like to serve it. And for those of us on Facebook right now, you can see I really like to serve it in a cast iron skillet. It really makes it easy. It's easy to clean up, and it's just such an unexpected fusion of taste, and it's a really great way to turn up your mac and cheese.
One more recipe from Beard Award-winning chef Tim Byers, using your Southern recipe pork rinds in remarkable ways. You want to impress for Thanksgiving, or are you just going to sit down to a big old skillet of smoked goodness? Go check out Southern recipe small batch pork rinds, or go to porkrinds.com. Recipe is there along with many others. You're into the keto lifestyle. Southern recipe small batch pork rinds has the ingredient for you. You want to kick it up a notch, as Perdome would say? You can do that with Southern recipe. Go check out the recipe, cook it, and get back to us. We want to hear you're going. And you heard earlier today, this recipe was formed by a tweet, just a thought out there. There might be something else there that Mr. Byers can do with Southern recipe that we might be able to find for as well, right, Mark?
Hey, we're going to be up there in the hill country down your way with Tim next week. We're going to be tweeting from out there. We're going to be smoking everything. I think we're going to smoke eggs. We're going to smoke everything. We're only cooking outside all next week. So we'll have a lot of good ideas, but I'd love to hear ways your listeners are using pork rinds now, because every recipe that we have at southernrecipesmallbatch.com comes from the inspiration of a listener. It comes from somebody who writes us and says, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And golly, those are just wonderful things that we find a way to share with other people.
And I'll tell you what, tweet us, at Rob Thompson ESPN, at Jason Minix, tag obviously Southern Recipe Small Batch in your tweets as well, because I did the pizza and I've done the shrimp, and the amount of DMs I've gotten, or just it's crazy that dudes will just DM you, how did you really do that shrimp, or the pizza, how was it, including a local pizza place that asked me how we did the pizza with the pork rind crust. Maybe it will end up on their menu. He's going to try it. And, it's interesting. So if you're trying it and you are, tweet us, let us know, and if you do something different, because that's the beauty of this, you might have an idea from here and turn it into your own. Let Mark know, because you never know, and he'll send you some free pork rinds too.
Certainly tailgate appropriate as well. Yeah.
It is, and you can go to southernrecipesmallbatch.com. We've got over 100 recipes out there that we've got listed. We've got a new pork rind cookbook that I'm bringing down to you guys next week that we just came out with. There's lots of fun things happening on the website. You mentioned our support of Coach Ditka and the Gridiron Greats. We can't wait for this year's Pork Rind Appreciation Day.
Biggest day of the year.
And celebrate it every day. And you can find Southern Recipe Small Batch, of course, at HEB.
Of course, go pick it up. Look forward to seeing you this weekend. We're going to be smoking and cooking. Lots of pictures, I'm sure, to follow. Mark, thank you so much for joining us today. Go dig in to the beautiful pork rind covered mac and cheese. My goodness. Thank you, Mark. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Tanya, I've had Tanya. She's barely being held off over there. She can smell it way over there. So you guys are going to have to let me go because she's going to come in here and eat. You guys have
to eat. We'll see you Saturday, man.
Southern Recipe, smallbatch.com for your recipe and all the other insights.